Alright guys, well welcome back to the channel. I spent the better part of last night setting up the Toaster guitar. And everything went really well as far as the setup. Um, I did have to address a few high frets. And definitely the neck needed to be hydrated. It went from a light colored to a very dark cocoa-ish brown, which is, it's a laurel fretboard. It's an interesting species of laurel. Um, and I had discovered some things that I really don't like about this bridge. So, considering the fact that it comes in at 279, you can't hard deck it because I already tried. The reason is this bridge has these Allen screws for adjustment. So what happens is, now I'm first time working with it, there's a little shaft that lowers it and raises it, but they're pretty much all sort of to their maximum settings. I mean, they will go up and down. They'll go down a lot. So as the screw turns here, it lowers this little round thing here. It lowers this shaft that's connected to it. So you can kind of see that this barrel shaft brings it string down or up, but it can only go up so high. So you can't hard deck this bridge plate and adjust it that way. So it's very non-traditional. Where maybe you would want to deck it and then just adjust your saddles for the right compensation. You can't do it that way. Because I already tried it, and with it hard decked, the saddle will not rise above the right height. So the only way is to raise the post, and then it'll be angled, right? But as far as using the tremolo, once you use the tremolo, the thing goes to shit really quick. So, and then, so you get through that understanding. For me, it's important that if I'm spending $300 on a Chinese import, which is more than a Firefly, we're looking at that price point of about $300. My expectations for an import at $300 is, yeah, you're covering a lot of the quality of, beautiful flamed maple veneer, flamed maple neck. The laurel fretboard is, yeah, but a lot of them come with composite sort of fretboards. It's okay, you got this probably fake abalone kind of stuff going on. And it's a nice looking guitar, don't get me wrong. Um, I like the blonde flamed maple neck, you know. So, locking tuners. But the overall sound of the pickups is extremely disappointing. I mean, they are bad to me. They're just very trembly. I could hear the bacon sizzling off the pan, with these kind of pickups. There's no real tonal qualities. It's just a mishmash of sounds here. I don't really hear a lot of tonal qualities here in these pickups. And even though, it's got a swimming pool cavity and it's got paint shielding, the back of the pick guard's got copper shielding. The pickups, to me personally, are not worth the money. And then I don't want to have to get into replacing them because now, that's an added expense. And then trying to match this pick guard may be itself a hassle. So to me, this is like going to be a returned item because for that $300 price point, I think there's a better guitar that would give me better sound, you know. And I'm thinking because I did order another guitar, a solo Strat type guitar with a different type of you know, this paint scheme, roasted maple neck, not flamed. And I'm kind of leaning on probably returning that one because that one was kind of like close to that $300 mark also. But considering I saw T's come out with the same type of guitar that I ordered from Solo, getting the T setup and the T's guitar with the locking tuners, that might be, to me, Torsen does a really good job of his setups. And so I was watching a demo of that one T's guitar, and I thought, I'll probably send back the Solo and just kind of settle in on the one T's guitar, which I thought, to me, having the full setup, with the right strings, the way that you like to play it right out of the box. I've always been happy with Torsen's setup and attention to detail. Even though this looks, to me, as well, it's a very nice guitar. I don't like this bridge. I don't like that it has that limitations. So I think this one's going to be going back. Yeah, so Eddie Stewart, if that is his name, let's take a look at the website and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. So yeah, I just caught a glimpse of this from Jimmy Stewart's feed a couple days ago, and I'm already familiar with the brand. He does a pretty good description of the guitar, you know, and I like the Mocha Burst thing, the metallic. In fact, Fender sells a similar guitar paint scheme for $600 something dollars. It doesn't have a 2-point trim. That's not a deal breaker. Supposedly the new things about this one are it has low output single coils, and that could be a deal breaker on tone. However, it does have a Strat body shape, which will make changing out the pickups much more simplified. If you wanted to do just now, this cavity right here, this cutout for that pick guard, isn't like the nicest looking one. I think it's kind of on the bigger side, kind of revealing too much of the body. I think it should be a little bit more shallow, but Torsen does a good job on the setup, so I think overall it might be a better playing guitar, even a decent sounding guitar, considering the pickups. Two more string trees. So this is different than the first Strat that I got, definitely. And I think this is kind of where I want to go, only because of the paint scheme, which I think is just, to me, he did a, where is it at? He did some really good shots of, yeah, here in his video. This Mocha Burst looks really killer with a black pick guard. So that's kind of what I'm chasing here. The solo guitar is almost, if not identical. So these guys, Tease is ordering from these factories in China, and I'm sure the solo guitar it's like they're all in this community of manufacturers, and it's just a matter of what particular parts you're buying and sounds and all that other kind of nonsense. So I'm sure that probably has a, if you took off the pick guard, it probably has an import switch. I don't really expect too much from the electronics, but when it comes to the playability and the setup of the guitar, it cuts a lot of, like, then you don't really have to do your own particular setup. This guitar has its own thing going on, whether you like it, but the pickups are just, to me, if I wanted to change them out, then I'm left trying to find a pick guard that matches this body, And since it's not a non-traditional strap body, that kind of raises the complexity of swapping out the pickups, because with that kind of guitar then you can swap out the pick guard because it has a traditional strap body. So I'm kind of thinking that that's better, you know. So I think this is kind of where I want to go. You know, Jimmy Stewart, his playing skills, but it looks nice. But with the black pick guard, these guitars really pop. The backside looks absolutely beautiful. So I think I think it's like 276 with the full setup. I get so irritated with YouTube and their freaking commercials, man. It's just ridiculous, but it looks great. And then when you're using an ad blocker, they try to throw this crap at you where you can't, navigate the video because they want to get an ad in. It's like crazy, man. And then end of season sale. Give me a break already. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So getting back to the T's guitar, I actually had to reboot my computer. This one down here. I'm running an older hard drive that used to have Windows 10 that I upgraded it to Windows 11 with the same format, and it's kind of hiccupy, so sometimes since it's got my old data in there, it just crashes. Now this guitar, which is identical to the solo guitar, is different because T's went with a basswood body where the solo is an alder body. So, and they're almost identical, so I'm not really I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up whether I keep the solo or go with the T's. The solo doesn't come with locking tuners, and I'm talking price point. So the T's guitar, if you order it with the locking tuners and the setup, it's identical price. So it's just a matter of, do you go and get the extra with the setup and the locking tuners for the same price point, or do you keep the solo? And because the solo doesn't come with locking tuners, and I'm not sure what kind of setup it comes, but I think their return policy, if it's been open, it's subjected to restocking fee. So if you open the box, you're already going to be losing money rather than just returning it. But Torsen really does a good job with his setup. So that's the real selling point is, this Strat style body and its new sound. Maybe a more enjoyable guitar, even though it has a basswood body. But this one I think is going back, guys. I don't really like the sound of it. I don't like the bridge. I think it's a gorgeous looking guitar, but it isn't giving me, for the money price point, it's not giving back to me what I would like to hear. And that really has a lot to do with it. Considering Chinese import, what are you getting for that a little bit under $300 price point? I want to be able to enjoy the pickups and not have to swap them out. But if I do have to swap them out, I don't want to run into a conflict with the pick guard not being a traditional strap body type pick guard, and that runs into another problem, and I don't want to have to run into that issue. So I think it's a return for me. It's got decent playability. It's a nice, but man, the pickups just kind of killed it for me on this one. As much as I like it, it's leaving me with a limitation of these pickups. So I think I'm gonna think about sending back the solo or ordering the T's, because this guitar actually looks way better with a black pick guard. And I'll show you what the solo looks like. It's almost identical. Hold on. So here at the Solo website, they're putting out their own production line of guitars. Exactly who the manufacturers are in this case, it's hard to know. But this is kind of like Tease's Mocha Burst. But you get 30% off when you order it direct from them. So you're talking, about 279 delivered to you, and so it's identical in a lot of ways to the T's guitars. However, at the top here you have the truss rod adjustment. It looks like more of a traditional back plate. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's doesn't have an angle cut. So here's that image. You see, yeah, you can tell it's got a lot of meat right here. Is this better or worse? It's not looking too good. The T's guitar is actually looking a little bit better, considering the body cut. The paint looks to be a lot richer, but this is just a comparison from the internet view. So I think this is going to go back compared to these images of the back. Let's go. Let me get another image of the back side here. You see, so this is almost identical. Definitely. And then looking at the back, let's see, get that back side. Well, he only has a small angle cut. It still has a lot of meat there. Man, fucking Googling their fucking commercials. So you see, it's got a little bit of that angle cut, which makes that little area a little bit more enjoyable. It looks a nicer, that cut. Does it make a big difference? Probably, because it doesn't have a sharp corner right there, But for the same price point, like I said, it's just, a matter of getting the guitar mounted with a black pick guard. You can even load the same pickups in it, but it's just a matter of preference. But I think I'm going to go with the T's guitar. I'm just going to send back the solo. I'll get the T's guitar with Torsen setup. If anything, all I do is keep it stock with a black pick guard. It'll look just the same. And at least it'll have locking tuners. And it'll be practically the same price, if you get it the T's guitar ordered. So I think that's the route I want to go. So that's it, guys. I mean, I'd like to give you a sound sample, but it's just I don't even want to do it. I'm just telling you from my perspective. There's just a lot of sizzling, bacon, very high end. There's no tonal. It just doesn't have no real decent sound here. Nothing that I can work with. It's just a mishmash of sound, and I don't really like that. I mean, even Firefly has better tonal options, but these are just very high output. They don't have no character, no definition within these series of pickups, so I don't really like it for that price point. And I have the right to feel that way. If I'm going to be paying close to $300, I want at least the pickups to give me some. Like, if these pickups actually gave me some real definition and tonal qualities, it's a keeper. But nah. And then the bridge is the second thing. So with most Chinese import guitars, you have to set up. Once you set them up for your liking, then it comes down to what's left, and this is kind of where that's at. And that's kind of where I'm like, nah, it's not worth it to me. This one has to get thrown back into the pond of, it just has to get thrown back. It's not a keeper, but that's how it is for me. I'm very critical for the price point at $300 and under what I'm looking for, and I had to spend time setting it up, adjusting the truss rod, dealing with a couple high frets, and hydrating the neck. And when you order the T's guitar, it's pretty much with Torsen setup, it's playable right out of the box, and that's preferably a more enjoyable experience, because not everybody wants to buy a Chinese import and start doing your setup. It's kind of what you don't want to do. at that price point of under $300. You don't want to really have to go that. It's just like, ugh, it gets old after a while. And I've set up enough Chinese import guitars where it just gets old. You want something that offers you a better experience. And I think the T's guitar with torsion setup and locking tuners, that's the ultimate package for that one Mocha Burst thing that looks really, really nice. And if all you ever have to do is change the pick guard from that, from that white, which doesn't really help that particular guitar, going black definitely does. I think black in that same style just looks better, just has a better look. The black pickguard, same style, just looks better. The white doesn't do it justice, so I think it's kind of like black is definitely better. Those are my thoughts, guys, and thanks for coming back to the channel. And yeah, so the Toaster, nice guitar, but it's just not gonna make the cut. Decent guitar, but for the reasons of the pickups and that bridge, it's not a keeper for me, unfortunately. She'll have to get thrown back into the pond, and that stupid light is really annoying. So let me turn it off. Good God, man, such an annoying thing. But she looks great, man. Nice looking guitar. I just wish that for the price point, I wish the pickups had some more substance to that, and that really is the deal breaker for me. Anyway, that's enough of my ramblings, and as always, have a beautiful day. And yeah, so thumbs down, maybe, I don't know, thumbs up. It's everyone has their own thing, but after listening to these pickups, it's basically bacon sizzling in the pan kind of a thing for me, and I don't like that tone. All right, thank you, and leave your comments. If you bought one of these, what did you think about the pickups? You didn't care, you like the overall guitar appearance, but for me, appearance is one thing, but enjoying the quality of sound, to me, is better. I'm more forgiving of a guitar that has a better sound. Maybe not be as gorgeous, appearance-wise, but that's just my opinion. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out, and as always, have a blessed week and take care.